Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie, przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami, a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy. I musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom, to jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.
Witamy wszystkich na 393 warsztatach poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim. Dzisiaj mamy niedzielę, 30 sierpnia 2020 rok, a tematem jest kontynuacja 342 warsztatu poszukiwaczy wiedzy. Jest to tłumaczenie z języka angielskiego na język polski, a czas na dzisiaj przetłumaczony to jest od godziny 36 minut do godziny 54 minut, od 2 godzin 4 minut do 2:14, od 2:17 do 2:29, od 2:33 do 2:50 i ostatni fragment od 3:05 do 3 godzin 36 minut. Po wysłuchaniu, po zapoznaniu się z warsztatem zapraszam do rozmów, zadawania pytań, na które postaramy się odpowiedzieć. Tak więc zapraszam do obejrzenia, wysłuchania.
Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. There was a question previously from Sylvian from France. There's a couple of comments first, which is, if we manage to be humble enough to reach the bandwidth of the inertia of the stone and we manage to connect to the soul of the stone, we will have access to all the fields. And at the same time, we increase or we raise our own bandwidth, and we are able to reach more deeply the universal community. But humbleness cannot exist without the inner strength of the soul, which is love. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for sharing again about that. Man still has to learn and understand the strength. So the question is, does man have to be in total detachment to achieve that?
In so many ways, yes. But whatever we detach ourselves, we get attached to something else as a part of the confirmation of our existence. Or we choose to be attached to something else that it brings us to that point of understanding we are still attached to. To be detached needs a lot of strength. And it needs a lot of determination. And once you become the habit, you live through it. And then you reach different level of understanding, and in a way you might mature to the point of understanding the totality. And when you become detached, anything which might happen around you, you do not need to be involved in it. The detachment keeps you detached and keeps you safe from it. You wanting it or not, it'll come to you that way. Does not matter what everything else or anybody else do. If your point of life is serving, does not matter what people do around you, the fields of the emotion and the fields of the soul bring you to the point to be where you're at peace. You're given the gift to live, or those who try to harm you through the souls find themselves harmed or find themselves not to be able to do harm. Listen to the teaching on if is released by Universal Council meeting. How Keshe Foundation was said to be destroyed. Well planned. Our purpose was serving. Their purpose was to destroy. We didn't do, we carried on working. And in time, they turned themselves in. They turned their own position back. They spent years planning to destroy the foundation. 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, step by step, step by step. But we spent the past 4 or 5 years serving, teaching. And none of you understand, you just come and go. But because we are in that state of mind, we work to serve, we live. We don't live on what we call hermits and poverty life. We live good life because the foundation works to create that condition. And those who betrayed or whatever they planned, they serve themselves the wrong way. Very soon, I'll disclose the way I disclosed to Universal Council how the foundation was set to be toppled over and be handed over to what I call satanic groups. Well planned within the structure, but our souls did not need to know. They brought themselves to it. Because I don't want to spend time to damage, I spend time to serve. I ask if I'm given, is there to take? I ask, I receive, if it's for me to receive. And it's the holder who has to accept. This is part of what you have to understand in all the teachings. I don't go and take, I ask. I ask to serve, and I've been given the chance to serve. And then part of it is detachment. Because I knew the strength of attachment. When you're attached and don't detach, it pulls you back in again. And because you left yourself to be detached, now you know you can be attached, you become better at it. Till the point when you become totally detached, then the cycle starts. Detachment is not throwing everything out the window, as they say, the baby with the bath, but understanding what is to be, what is needed to be to achieve that detachment. And then whatever comes to you is not attachment, it's a gift to you for being detached. In a way, is an existence of confirmation, for confirmation of existence in all dimensions. Very soon, I will explain how detachment has saved the foundation. Those who thought they can take over and control and destroy whatever was built by all of your knowledge seekers. Because they got too attached to few things and promises of themselves. If you can become detached the way I am, then you reach the point that you can be attached to one thing. And that's your soul, and the destiny which the soul has set for you. As I was talking to Dr. Keshe Foundation in China, Wang Lin says, we are just, as we always say, we are just actors in a set. But the rest comes set by the souls. Any other question?
Mr. Keshe, there's a number of questions about Basically, well, Thomas sums it up. How do we observe field, excuse me, how do we observe field motions? And other questions which are similar, how do we sense, see, or feel the fields?
I had this thrown at me this morning. You're the second one. I don't feel anything. I don't understand. And then you say to them, did you have corona? Did you use the gases? Did it help you to get rid of the pain? Yes. So, did you feel anything with it? But how did the pain of the gas go? You receive when you need, according to what you need. And then you see the effect of it. If you're sitting there and feeling something, become a hermit and join the temples in India. One day the wind must blow. You're waiting to hear with the voice where your soul has already heard the emotion, the field of it.
Speaking of which, there's a question from Antonio. Mr. Keshe, when you talk about emotion, are you saying intuition? Is our intuition one and the same with our emotion?
Not really. It's part of your emotion. It's part of the fields. Everything you feel, everything you sense, everything which is within dimension of understanding of the man has a field strength. Try to understand the interaction of the fields, and if that field can help you in the material state dimension with your pain, with your corona, and you lose your pain, then try to understand the extension of that field in other parts of your life. Then you feel it. Then you understand. When you're not thirsty, I can put jugs and glasses and tons of water in front of you. You only take water when you're thirsty. You see, when the souls are in motion and they know that you might suffer from something which is not to do with you, they bring something for you to be able to bypass, to not to feel the pain which has been created to damage. These are gifts which the mankind receives, and because he has no knowledge of it, he cannot acknowledge it. They plan, they set out, immaculately plan months and years before to harm you. But the soul is aware of it. And in that process, the soul, as it knows you're there, will bring a condition for you not to feel, not to be harmed by it. And if mankind understands this, lives his life in the hand and through the work of his own understanding and inner existence. And then we get what we have with the Iranian, some of the Iranian team speaking about, oh, you cannot speak about this. If you're ignorant to the knowledge of the creation, it's not my fault. It's you trying to be ignorant of your own existence. This is the picture of the Iranian team in Tehran, one of Tehran leading hospitals. These knowledge seekers have traveled from all over Iran to man the production and support of the corona patients in one of the Tehran leading hospitals. They sleep and they live in the hospital to save lives. They have put the life of themselves in a highly contagious area ahead of the others to serve them. And the uniform, or we said the clothes, has been made for them to be safe. And this is where the Keshe Foundation now operates, within the structure of the hospitals in Iran. These are the knowledge seekers who know the dangers of corona, and they trust in the technology, and they live in the hospital. They come from the cities and hospitals that provide them with accommodation, and they're saving lives day and night in the wards they've been given, and even in the wards which are not supposed to be in. The ward was totally, nearly emptied last week, and they had to give them new patients. This is what the new technology has brought. No masks. And you can see this was their clothing was made by the knowledge seekers of Iran as a gift, was taken to the hospital, given to the hospital for the knowledge seekers. And they proudly wear the Keshe Foundation logo. At this moment of time, the Iranian media is entangled with what to do with the Keshe Foundation. And within the next few days, maybe by Monday, Tuesday, we'll see the position where the government and the Iranian nation have taken in respect to the Keshe Foundation. And as you see, serving humanity comes in different shapes and forms, and in so many ways these three guys, collectively with the others, how many children, how many fathers are home that they can enjoy life. The corona in Iran has taken a strong hold in the second cycle. And in this hospital where they are, in other words, which Keshe Foundation is not operating still on the trial, between 8 to 10 people a day die of corona, as we've been told. And this is where what I call science and technology meets the politics. And the Iranian media, about 3 days ago, released on the prime time, the prime channel of Iran, the video of the production of One Cup, One Life, with accusations. And now the truth known by the broadcasting authorities has brought a big question mark on the credibility and the legitimacy of the office of the President of Iran, Ayatollah Rouhani of Iran. Because this was done deliberately to damage where the lives are saved, and now is in the hand of the media, putting the Keshe Foundation face to face with the office of the President and the position of President taking to hide one of the technologies which is saving thousands of lives in Iran. And we will understand within the next few days how the position will be, as the offices of Sepah and Iranian leadership, His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran's officers and supporters, have stood behind the Keshe Foundation. We have become a political ball in Iran, and within the next few days, we understand the position. There is one way and one way only for the Keshe Foundation in Iran, is to serve the nation. Then the nation has to decide what to do with this president. We are not in the game of politics. We are in the game of supporting the nation in the time of trouble, and the children of the nation are helping to save the nation. Playing the One Cup, One Life on a prime news time, prime channel, trying to sideline the efforts of the Keshe Foundation, and the Iranian leadership has backfired for the president. We'll let you know next week how and where and the way this game will be played. You've got to understand, if the way the Iranian media has not been shown the video, and people can see how their lives, and they're reporting how their lives has been saved, take position and side on the side of the Keshe Foundation. Resignation of Ayatollah Rouhani becomes imminent, because now he's shown, knowing a technology, saving lives, he has failed to serve his nation. But that is in the hand of the Iranian authorities. We are not in the game of politics, we are in the game of science, technology, and saving a nation. But the implication of this, once the media decides which way to go, if to go in the way of the Keshe Foundation, the technology will come internationally open to the rest. Many hospitals are defying the health authorities. Many authorities are defying the health authorities and using the gases to save, and many people are doing it themselves. And we wait for an outcome. But in this hospital, as you see, Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers, by invitation of the head of the hospital, backing of one of the leading universities in Iran, will show what will come out next week, as we did not ask to be put on television. President Rouhani decided to go for the Keshe Foundation. As I said many weeks ago, the position of the Iranian President Ayatollah Rouhani is untenable. And this is a clear indication, and we stand by the office of His Eminence Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran in serving the nation. Any other question?
Special edition, Scientific Journal, June 2020. And so the question is, let me see if there's the actual paragraph there. So the paragraph is, the text is, the question is about protocols in this text. The protocol to reverse is to use 30% GANS plasma mixture, 1, in solution, adding up to 2 to 3 magnesium tablets, or use of the GANS of magnesium as 5%, use of the GANS amino acid of cup of life 1 GANS with 0.9% saline water of GANS of magnesium, and 1% or a small amount of GANS amino acid of zinc and CO2. And so they go on to say, I understand this. Take, for example, it says to take 30% GANS plasma mixture 1. I would do this once the mixture is done. Take 30 milliliters of this mixture and place it in a container where I'll make the mixture. Then add 2 to 3 magnesium tablets, then add amino acids from the cup 1. After this is where I have confusion. I don't know if I use the saline water of a magnesium reactor and how much is used. And in the end, to complete the 100%, complete with drinking water in order complete.
No, the process is very simple. You need 0.9 saline water, which is you make the salt yourself. That's the salt water which you make yourself. Unless you use 9% saline condition in your cup 1, which you can use it. It's a very straightforward, because we didn't talk about 9% saline water. 9% is you have to make a water which is 9% salt in it, 0.9%, which is the more or less around near equivalent to human body salt in the blood.
So it says 0.9% saline water of GANS of magnesium, but it just means 0.9% salt water, basically.
Salt water. If you don't have the magnesium salt, you use that one. That's from what they can use.
Okay.
Because when you use the GANs of magnesium, the salt, when you make the GANs of magnesium, you have a salt. That salt is, because using magnesium is more effective than using another salt. So if you don't have it, use 9%, or you use 9% saline magnesium salt.
Okay, we do have a translator. John is here now, and perhaps he can help with this.
Yeah, sorry, I've only got one computer, so I'm in the Spanish group or I'm in the English group. Liliana's having a mix-up there, with interpreting what you're trying to say there. When you mentioned just now your GANs, are you referring to their own body GANs or just the 0.9 mixture, the 0.9% mixture of ordinary GANs water?
It's GANs. You use when you make a GANs of magnesium, if you have that, you use it. If not, you use 9% saline, what's good, salt water, 0.9%.
Fine, I'll let Liliana know. Liliana, si sabes hacer el GANs de magnesio, haces el GANs de magnesio. Si no, usas el agua plasmática con 0,9 de sal, hecho en la copa 1.
Ok, John. Entonces completaría para el 100%.
We spoke about this yesterday, is how do the doctors interpret this? Because her question is, what will the doctors interpret when they read this? If they don't understand what the plasma really is.
So they have to go and learn first.
Exactly. Sí, el señor Keshe dice, los médicos tienen que aprender a todo esto en este momento. Esta es la explicación de todo el proceso del cómo trabaja el plasma.
Ok. Bien. Tengo otra duda en cuanto a la...
Cup of life, 50% of the cup of life of GANs. GANs water or GANs?
No GANs water, no. Me refiero a GANs of itself. Que si sería lo mismo, se refiere al GANs de...
And she wants to know the difference between these two statements. 50% cup of life, 1 GANs of itself, and 50% cup of life, 1 GANs. What's the difference between the statement of the cup of life, 1 GANs of itself, or is that the same as a cup of life, 1 GANs? So we're trying to make a correct translation for the Hispanic.
It's a cup of life GANs. We take 50% GANs. Let's say if you have 100 mil, you add another 100 mil to it of water or GANs water of the cup of wine. And that water now is used, or that mixture is used for the next stage. Because the confusion comes as you're not. We work on the ratio of the gas to the water. This is how plasma technology works. If you have 300 mil gas and 700 mil water, has a different strength than if you have a 500 mil of gas and 500 mil of water. The energy transfer when you use it is different. This comes from the lack of what you call information from the part of the reader. It goes by order of magnitude by the presence of gas, which means this I understand, if I understand it correctly, is this. If you have a liter of water, in both cases, and here you have 300 mil of gas, and you have the same water, but you have 500 mil of gas. This one is weaker than this one, because the energy transfer from this and this is different. This is why when we have a human body, we put the patches of 2:1, for example. This one is 200 mil, this is 100 mil. The energy transfer by the presence of the gas in order of magnitude is bigger, so it tries to do this. It's the same, that's why in these cups, we presume the person who reads it already understood the principle of the plasma technology. And somewhere in that paper has been explained.
¿Entendiste, Liliana?
That's how we work.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been commenting for quite a while. I realize many a time I'm not breathing. As you've said, you don't need to breathe. You just acquire the energy. Is that true?
In a way, gradually you could do. This is what we say. We have never given birth in a space. Mankind is not aware of birth in space. We have never had a passenger or a man of space to be free in the space. We always have made assumptions, or to be creating a new generation of children that can live in both areas. The way now we come from the womb of the mother and we live in an air condition, our body has adapted to that. Do we need adoption to live in a space? Or fear of unknown is keeping us in this clothing? Would we, in a time to come, will be free of what we need as oxygen, but take the energies of oxygen from the spaces of the universe to live the life? At the moment, our lungs come into operation and our heart, with the cause of a small valve, changes to breathing air. Would mankind, when it becomes a man of space, switches the energy needed for the physicality to be taken by the soul, that we do not die from lack of oxygen, but we still carry the same body, but the soul receives the energy and transfers it across to our physicality to live. We are in a point of unknown. We are at this point in the world of science that we might lose people in space because they cannot breathe, but those knowledge seekers who have learned, or the new generation of the children to be born of man, will be looked after in a different way, be able to live in both dimensions. As we are born from the womb of the mother in the environment of liquid, we come to the environment of the air and we switch in the dimension of physicality. Now that we are aware and we can move into the next level of understanding of our own creation, would our central energy point, which does not depend on the physical receiving oxygen but works through the fields, will accept the responsibility of keeping the physicality alive by giving it its energy in the level of oxygen that the lungs or the body can operate, and the lung becomes a standby. All the time we are in the womb of the mother, our lung is on a standby. Developing, be ready. We move within the womb of the mother for 9 months, and then suddenly we switch to oxygen. We get our lungs kicked in. Is the next level of understanding of the man of the space technology kicks the central energy or star of the body of the man, or we call it the soul, to start taking the energy which comes back to the level where the man can live without oxygen in space. And the answer is yes. The same will be fed in the environment of the space, but we will lose a lot of things which we are used to, because we don't have a need for it. It's there in case if we go to the position of wanting to take a physical food. Mankind has to learn the new era of space and joining the universal community. And this will bring a lot of changes for us. We are preparing you for a space flight in conjunction with scientists.
Now, Mr. Microphone, sure, these fields loose in the universe and organize or manipulate them for the desired result. Is it possible to explain? How do
The body, the body itself captures it according to its needs. We do it every day. If you go back to the original teaching, we capture or we receive 80% of our daily need energy from the atmosphere around us. We are not just a body on its own, that we just eat food and we go. We interact with the environment. In scientific language, we call it aura. Where does the aura come from? It's the same as the sun. The sun interacts with the earth and creates the light. So the interaction of the fields of our body with the environment creates that aura, that heat, that information. So the aura is not one way. The body receives energy, fields, and it gives energy and fields. And in that process, we always been that way. Because if you think of what we do, the amount of energy we consume even to breathe on a regular basis, the amount of energy we need to think, the amount of energy we use to digest is far, far more than 2,500 calories a day. The balance is 2.5. Most probably we use 10, 20,000 calories overall, but we don't count it. So it's the same that now we push more towards the soul, to more central energy, that we take the barriers off. In a way, we take off the peels of the onion and we go to the center of it, and now the interaction is with the mass center. So we pick what we want, or we extend the level of the inner energy source to go beyond the boundary of the physical body. That's all. Then we receive different information without interference of the physical structure of the brain, of the man, or the cell. Any other question?
Okay, we have Dean with his hand up here. Go ahead, Dean.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Thank you, Rick, for taking this question. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Mr. Keshe, look, with everything you've said today, looking at those beautiful souls that that we saw from the image of the Iranian people in the hospital, how much of their interaction, of the healing that they produce, is through their soul? It's their soul interaction, they're beautiful star souls that are interacting together as one, and also plans to actually heal these people from the virus.
It is, some of them don't, I think, even look at it that way. They are there with a wish and with the sincerity to serve those who are sick, that are wicked in themselves, and they come new, very much like the nurses do. But this new group of what I call knowledge seekers, they serve with the new tools. Maybe because they make the ganses themselves in the hospital and give people, part of their soul is with it, and the wishes of it. We've done that in the new system, in the new enhancement system. It's been built that way. the what you call the history of the making of the enhancement unit is recorded in the step by step, and in it you will see and understand in the future when it opens up how we have developed and put things in it that is not tangible. And that's what we said, the systems we make, it cannot be replicated. Because there's so many universal technologies which is not known, is implemented, even the people who are using it or building it don't understand.
So the field interactions are happening spontaneously. Even it's a constant motion. Emotion. It's a constant flow.
Yeah, there is,
of information.
of course it is. Has anybody ever thought, why do we die at a given point at a time? Or is it just a physical interaction and it stops in 1 second? Or is it a communication with the soul of the physicality and soul of the man that hand over time, where the universal field forces accept the freedom of the soul of the man from his physical prison? It's like when you go on the stand, wait outside till the prisoner is released. You are aware that it's the day is to be released, you go and wait outside. Or the person is in the hospital, you know, it's the day of release, you go there, wait, you know, it's coming out, so I'm going to be there.
So a thought and an intention is very, very powerful, and that constant flow of emotion is what connects us all to everything that we do, everything that we are.
In a way.
So once you learn this beautiful knowledge that you've given, that knowledge is within you, and then you constantly feed this back and forward in that infinity.
In so many ways, the knowledge always has been with us. We tried, because of not understanding it, we have ignored it.
I think through your wonderful teachings and the knowledge that you've given, and I think many people are coming to the understanding of that forgetting, that you know, letting go of what we really are is starting to come back in a very big way. And I'd like to thank you so much for what you've done for everybody, for humanity, for the creatures, all creatures, all souls across this planet and across the globe, the universe and the unicos. Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for that. Just that for you. Thank you for your beautiful soul. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is this also an experience when the near-death experiences people have when they're received by a near acquaintance and they tell them they have to go and finish their work down on Earth?
Near-death experiences is part of the physical structure. And we only make the trip one way, or do we make the trip every day, every time we go to sleep? Does our soul send back to the body because you're connected, go home? Or when we become conscious of that return, we call it near-death experience. How come we don't call it near-death experience when we dream? Death to us is a separation from physicality. And don't we separate every night when we go to sleep?
So, sorry, it's Dean again. So, Mr. Keshe, so most people are unaware of that situation. They actually they separate from their bodies every night, or every time they go into the dream state, or they go into the universe. They're unaware that they are actually disconnecting from their physical bodies and becoming a traveler of the universe.
In a way, we are the travelers of the universe.
So does the universal community sit within us?
Are we part of the universal community? We didn't want to accept?
Yeah, for me, we is yes, most definitely. And I think through the understanding of what you've taught, I think that understanding is now there throughout the souls that have heard you speak, heard your intentions.
We are all passengers of the universe. We have been, but we chose to live within the physical reality of this planet.
As you said, we enjoy our physicalities. It's such a wonderful experience that we enjoy it so much that we decide to stay.
Yeah, for the time being. But now the man has an option to extend that lease of the physicality.
To be in both dimensions, well, in a few dimensions of thought and intention and choice, or a physicality.
In all dimensions. The new generation of children of this planet and the universe, for the first time, as I've said many times before, have now the choice to live both dimensions. By choice. Isn't this what we call the fountain of youth? When you appear in another position, you're time zero, because that's time starts from that point.
And is that constant flow? That means that you can be at any point. It's a time outside of this planet doesn't exist. So that means you can be at any point in any moment. It's
time in that position depends, because this is what I explained. In our solar system, 1 year of Earth is so many months of Saturn. What is it? Is it the same time or is it a different time? So in the universe, 1 year of us is the seconds of the people who are the universal passengers, and they time it by the rotation of the universe, if you call it that way. And then, if you understand this is what I explained in many of the private teaching. When you look into skies and you say there is a such a light, and you call it such a thing, is in manifestation in what you call a UFO. To you has been there for tens of thousands of years. For it just arrived. These are the dimensions which mankind has to understand. We have timed everything according to our understanding. It takes us 365 days to go around our sun, to our time, to our sunrise, sunset. What is the age and the time when our galaxy takes to take a full turnaround back into the same position? How many billion years that year is? And then where does our time fit into this? Mankind has to open its eyes to a new dimension of understanding of time and place. If you take it in the time and the space of universe, is zero for mankind when you are the traveler of the universe.
So, Mr. Keshe, that sort of explains to me when we say the people, the travelers of the universe, visit us, that they would have the ability to know many things very that we were unaware of. That could be just literally that zero-time communication that for us is a very long time. For them, it's a split second. So so the knowledge is transferred in a different way. It's just. So we have the fields are slowed down completely. We're in a very slow state. They're in a different dimension altogether, where that for them it's just it's normal, it's natural.
Yeah.
Thank you for that understanding. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
No problem. Thank you very much.
It will be interesting when we interact with the universal community for many more people to witness it, to understand it, whether it's in physicality or not. It will be interesting times to come.
The thing is, we already are in touch and interacting with the universal community. It's just we are not aware of it. We don't want to confirm it. The confirmation of it for man will bring a new breakthrough. This is, you know, there is a understanding of the Austrian mentality. This is the part of the real life of in Austria, as we were talking about it some times ago. In Austria, things exist, but if you don't look at it, it doesn't exist, but it's still there. So it's there, they are there. We decided to ignore it till the time we want to admit it, we want to admire it, we want to confirm it. It's there, but it doesn't exist, because for me, it's better to confirm it's not there till actually the time comes that it's not there. Acknowledgement. The same is the universal community is not they're sitting there, they've never been here. They're part of us, part of the knowledge that man has gained comes from the universal community.
That interaction then is that not only with the universal community, but with all actions, emotions for many people and creatures on this planet. That what you focus on, what your intention on, is what you tend to receive.
In a way, we decide. We want to admit, we want to accept.
So it's just an opening up of the fields. Once you open yourself to the fields, let the interaction happen and receive what the environment you're in and the environment you wish to be in.
In so many ways, but sometimes we don't want to accept the truth. Because it's easier to live with what we have. We don't have the understanding of the universal knowledge. We don't have the understanding of the universal community advancement. So we tend to ignore it. It doesn't mean that they have not shared knowledge with mankind. Mankind has been deaf to it because it doesn't make any difference. Cannot be. This is what I explained many times. When the guy went to Russia, came back to Iran, he says, you know, they have a metal thingy bird that he flies. They laughed at him and said, man, are you crazy? Months later, it turned up, it's an aircraft. Now mankind could fly. But that time people couldn't accept. How much knowledge we should be are told up to now, because we can't accept, we deny it, we ignore it. Aren't we in the same position now in Iran? You're seeing these guys saving lives. The prime president, because he doesn't take the bribe, says it doesn't exist and it's some fairy tale. And the funny thing is, half of the Iranian parliament, the cabinet ministers and their families use it. It's become what I call Christianity of Mithraism. The Romans were aware of God, and they didn't want to be for their citizens because this kept them elite. They believed in something from the skies, and the citizens believed in the statues and all sorts of things. So the citizens decided to get it and to go for it. And then they built up what we call the Christianity. And they made up, very much a lot of it made up to fit what the rulers, the Romans, believed in as the emperors. It's one of the knowledge seekers sent me a beautiful message. And if you don't understand both sides of the fence, what they're talking about, to you is a bit, what do you call, in the dark. But if you are Christians and you believed in, as you know, the 15th of August was the Ascension of Mary. But go into the Zoroastrian calendar and see what happens on the 15th of August. It's not coincidental, is it? Again, a Zoroastrian calendar event matches into Christianity. When you make something, you can make as much as you like and it fits anyone. They just change it to fit. Just go and check the two. How the present Catholic structure fits into a religion which came and has belief in the Creator, not a statue. So we were aware of it, we know. But who brought the understanding of the Creator? Or what you call God, or whatever. Was it by thought of one, or was it brought to man to understand and he took it the way it is and the rest were not shared with? We are part of the universal community. We have been part of the universal community. We are made of it. It's part of us as much as we are part of it. Now we are opening the door for you to see with your own knowledge. It's nothing new. But you have to put mankind through a process of teaching that he understands physically how, that then he can go backwards to it where he wanted to be. I try to explain a lot of things which falls within the structure of understanding the totality, but we have to gradually accept that we are part of it, and it's part of us.
Mr. Keshe, when you say when you speak like this, and when you explain it like this, I always get this this presence of my soul around me. I feel it through not a ringing, that's the wrong, but I feel my soul presence within my physicality. Whenever you speak like this, and I feel it becoming more and more. It's a wonderful experience, but I feel it more and more.
I think we got to understand the technology, that through the technology we understand the whole structure. But in different ways we approach it, in different ways we explain it, till somewhere majority takes hold, majority understands, majority rules by it and lives by it.
So you keep talking about the fields, Mr. Keshe. So how do we, I know with the GANS technology, you're starting to teach so that we can make the fields move in a particular way. I'm sure that they move in a magnetical way through the fields of the universe This is a universal knowledge, as you know, that's there. It's a given. But you're teaching us how to use the fields and manipulate the field, not manipulate, but to enhance the fields to around ourselves and our environments. The field flow. How do we attract it to ourselves in a beautiful way?
In the new enhancement unit, people will feel GAN's strength fields that they never knew. It's a new understanding of technology, which we do not reveal it publicly because mankind is not ready for it. But when you come encounter the fields of these new systems, it will hit you very hard. Up to now, the GANs for you were just fields that you put on the GANs or on a patch. The new enhancement, the enhancement unit, which will show in 2 weeks' time, carries powers beyond the imagination of mankind. It's a breakthrough in the science for you, but it's a common knowledge to us. And in many, many teachings, in the past 7 years, I have taught it. It's actually in the books written nearly 10 years ago. But you don't understand it. It's in patent, creating cosmic rays, creating fields beyond the strength that by breaking it down, we create rays that fields in a plasmatic condition. It's nothing new. Now we show it. One of the biggest things with the new enhancement units is the power which they deliver. It's a punch that will bring the soul of the man to his confirmation of his own existence. It's designed to do so. So, is the knowledge something which was given to man coming from planet Zeus to Earth? Or is it part of the structure of understanding the knowledge of the creation? The new understanding, the new technology, the new confirmation, the new ways of interacting with the fields will bring a new dimension to the world of science in the next 2 weeks. The powers we release through the development of this new enhancement unit, it will take centuries for mankind to even comprehend the basic fundamental principles of it, if they go this way, the present way. But if you understand the knowledge of the science as a universal way, as we have taught, you'll say, wow, how come we didn't see it?
Myślę, że bardzo ciekawy warsztat.
I jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją.
An infant
Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto, co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom, to jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.